Greetings to all our wonderful viewers in Guyana and the diaspora. From the set of choices, we salute Guyana on the attainment of our 50th Republic anniversary. We are blessed to be born in such a beautiful country like Guyana, a place that is home to the jaguars, giant anteaters, world's largest anteater. Arapaima, world's largest scale freshwater fish. Harpy eagle, the most majestic bird of Guyana. Giant otters, world's largest and rarest otter. Black caiman, the largest member of the alligator family. The mighty Kaieteur Falls, world's largest single drop waterfall. A total height of 251 meters or 822 feet. An average flow rate of 663 cubic meters per second or 23,400 cubic feet per second. 4 times higher than Niagara Falls. This is where this program Choices is coming to you from, a blessed country. You're viewing us today. God bless you. God bless Guyana.
On the 23rd of February 1970, Guyana attained Republican status. What that meant is that Guyana was now in a position to make decisions for itself, not depending upon England, who we came out of. But political authority was now given to the state, to the government by the people. So on that day, Guyana severed ties. It's a good thing when you could make decisions for yourselves, when people could make decisions for themselves, and to charter their own course of development, because in that way, a nation could grow rather than run into another country and asking what to do and so on, because that is the whole notion of what independence should be like. And so Guyana made that decision, but that decision cannot really materialize in a strong way if there is contention among the people, if there is division. And so I think 50 years, you know, as you look back at 50, in the biblical context, particularly in the time of Israel, it was symbolic of Jubilee, which spoke of a release, you know, a triumphant blast, a blast of victory. And so I think now is the opportune time as a people of this nation where we could celebrate together as a team and remove that spirit of division that has been plaguing us for so many years. So this is the opportune time. And for us to really move in that direction, there must be a strong spirit of humility. People must humble themselves. There must be justice. We have to have leaders who are keen on justice and ensuring that justice is distributed. And so Guyana is in a good position now, but the leaders of our nation, those leaders need to recognize the importance of us. This step that we have taken, calling ourselves a Republican nation, this step cannot be advanced with any degree of seriousness if we continue to fight, if we continue to pull and tug against one another, because we are one people, one day, one nation, with one destiny. Gentlemen.
Being 15 in 1970, 50 years on or down the road, I reflect every day. Our enemies, we are our number one enemies. We have too much bickering, infighting, hate, subterfuge. We cannot advance and face a common enemy that is external. if we are as divided as we are. It was Jesus himself who said, house divided cannot stand. So even though we've gone 50 years on the trot, we are facing not only those internal difficulties, but the rapacious neo-colonialism, where the forces, the former colonial forces, now have renewed interest in new discoveries. The only way we'll be able to resist those forces, we have to be able to have a clear vision of where we want to go as a people. And then we hold our political leaders to that. The vision must be clear. The vision cannot be based on colors and flags. There's got to be a vision that is sufficiently powerful that every man and woman and boy and girl in this country can identify with. And once we have been able to articulate such a vision, then we have the duty to take it to every region, every nook, every cranny, every place where Guyanese live. And we have to show them the importance of buying into that vision. Once we receive that vision, I believe in very short years, we will be able to move with a renewed energy that right now is eluding us. We will be able to move with a renewed strength, and we have the capacity to do so. And we will be able to not just rejoin our brothers and sisters in the region, but fulfill our destiny by helping them. And we could only help them when we have come to the position of strength that the Creator intended in the very first place. That we could be the spot in the region where they could find their destiny because of, Essequibo, 365 islands alone in the mighty Essequibo River, and all those who are struggling and fighting in the region, we can place people there and they can live the good life. But we need a clear vision, a very clear vision.
A significant feature of us becoming a republic, like Dr. Hudson referred to, is the fact that we were able now make our own decision. The flag wasn't changed, the size of the country didn't change, but we were now able to make our own decision to determine our future. Previously, the colonial master determined to a large degree what we ate, how we conducted our trade. We were primary producers, and so we became the recipient of their finished product. Now, therein lies the problem, the decision that we make after 50 years. How do we move forward now? The decisions that we make after 50 years should be one that we should have learned from our past, and we should move forward now with the decisions that we made, having learned from the past, so that we determine and we develop a clear vision as to what we want for our nation. Our nation, we are no longer hamstrung by the colonial masters anymore. So hearing that we are now a people that we can make our own determination as to where we go from. So critical for us to go forward now is the decisions that we make. How do we determine our future? And if we are going to really maximize what we have as a nation, then decisions that we make would be critical for us to fulfill our purpose.
The theoretical postulate both you gentlemen just advanced, I would want to suggest is primarily theoretical. Because we live in a world where even though we are a republic, we are still faced with the powers that be around the world who, when we make a decision, and there are very many instances, they have now tied our obedience to aid. So we are going to grant you certain benefits, but you must now amend your constitution, you must now change your culture, you must now change your position on A, B, C, D issues. If you are a free man, you'll be able to say to people, when people come to your home and they tell you that, you say, get out of my yard, leave my yard. But those who are really vying to become leaders, they have to discover, and they will discover when they travel, that you can have what you call republic, but we are calling the shots, and you can hardly see us. But if you don't do what we are telling you to do, and I'm saying this against the idea, not just what we see happening, but we have sufficient writings. There's a guy named John Perkins who's written a masterpiece on a number of issues. And those realities are scary.
Is this so because of the economical strength of the nation? Because when we think about aid, we think about persons making an input into my sustenance, into my upkeep. And because of that, they might be so positioned economically that they can determine how I operate as an individual. But I strongly believe, because as a youngster growing up, I saw things before my eyes of the potential of Guyana as a nation, being self-sufficient, being able to be, we were referred to as the bread basket of the Caribbean. And so I'm wondering where along the way we lost our bearings, so to speak. Because I strongly believe, should we get back on course, and Bishop, and others, I heard vision, but I'm also thinking vision with leadership to help us to chart that course. There are others who believe that they also have a vision that can better us as a nation. What do we do as a people? Who do we allow to lead us into that future? And I believe as individuals, we need to examine what is before us, where we were, where we are at present, and where we expect to go.
We need, especially at this time, as you view this program, it will be 1 week away from E-Day in Guyana. We need experts of the future. We don't need experts of the past. We don't need to reverse into the future. We need folks who will be able to embrace the complexity of the issues that we're facing now and provide solutions, not abusing and so on. We need to provide solutions to the future. How are we going? And one of the critical things we have to do, we need, leadership is critical, I agree with you. We have to pull this great resource called Guyana, the human resource, to go in a direction where we will work for the benefit of Guyana. And we have to go in that direction. And so leadership has got to be able to galvanize everyone, the concept of the vanguard. We need to be able, no, that's an English word, that's not no party word. And we have to understand the concept and be able to come together and be able to move forward.
I see the concept.
It's difficult in a multi-ethnic society, but it is difficult because you have to ensure that all ethnic groups see the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy task. So here again, we need leaders who would see beyond their own ethnic enclave and see the entirety of a nation. And sometimes it's difficult to achieve because oftentimes one ethnic group may think the leader of that group may think in terms of fulfilling the dreams of his or her ethnic group rather than the mass as a whole. So while we identify the problem, I still believe it's an extremely difficult task unless leaders rethink and have a new mindset.
One of the
We've
things
been
we
more
have to
saying that
remember-
this is 50. We've been saying that this is 50, and in my mind, 50 is not 10 nor 15 nor 25. I think it is. Someone on the set made reference to the longevity of the time, which means that over the years we were able to look at what worked and what cannot work. We've come to the table with a measure of experience. So clearly, it is clear the ethnic division remaining separate has not worked, cannot work, will not help us. In my mind, 50 speaks to a measure of maturity. And we must therefore learn from the experiences of the past, and that clearly tells us that the only way we'll be able to maximize the resources we have and be able to make the kinds of quality decisions we wanted to make in the first place for the benefit of all is for us to be able to come together. So any leader who attempts to take us down the road of the racial divide is not thinking in terms of the future of the country. That person might be thinking along the lines of the benefit for their own political gain, but not for the future of the country, because all of us are involved, all of us are consumed. And at the end of the day, I think I was telling someone, when I listen to some of the political ads, when you finish, I ask myself, how in the name of everything you bring these people back together to be able to work as a nation? Let us cooperate so that we can make Guyana great.
You know, in the scriptures, Deuteronomy 8:18, Moses reminded the children of Israel that it is God is the one who has given the ability to produce wealth. And so clearly we can see that the prosperity of a nation does not depend on any particular grouping or any particular race or any particular party, political party. We have to, as a nation, irrespective of all the races, we have to tap into God to give us the ideas and the abilities that we need to create that wealth. And as we work together, as we work the vision, we will be able to tap into the tremendous blessing that He has given to us to create wealth.
In your solution, God will not do it by Himself. In your solution, you are there's an invisible hand there that is where your leadership, the visionary,
Yes.
the dreamer.
Exactly.
I'm talking about Guyanese. We have that role to play.
Yeah.
And force is not necessarily the only element that can bring us together. Good sense can bring us together, and we can learn from the experiences of others. What would it benefit us and our children, and after 50 years, if we keep focusing on our separate ways? We will fulfill this beatitude that says, "Blessed are they that go wrong in circles, for they shall become big wheels." You know, that's all we're doing. We cannot afford,
Yes.
as we go further, to experiment again with the foolishness over the last 50 years. We need to be able to deal with each other in terms of working together. The cohesiveness that is being tried, we have to find a way. It might be difficult for all of us to pray together, but by heavens, we can build a bridge, we can build a road, we can build a hospital, we can do so many different things. And the things we can do that together, let us try those things, and then we'll come to a place where we'll be able to really celebrate together and be one That's this one people, this one nation, this one destiny.
You know,
We
I
all
think
need
about
a bridge,
two
you know.
words: willingness to do it and trust. And I think that has been lacking in our society, where we don't trust the other person. So we need leaders who will motivate us, who are willing to go. The Bible talks about Jesus, God writing, the word of God says, if you are willing and obedient, then you will eat the fruit of the land. So there must be a willingness to do, to come together, a willingness to work together. And we mustn't see it as just my side and your side. We must see it as us together. One people, one nation, one destiny. And if there is no willingness, we will never be
I
able to
think
come to
what
that.
we need in this process, and it is possible, but we need leaders who are transformational. And why do I say that? Because the whole concept of transformation, it incorporates ideas that are not selfish, ideas that are people-oriented, empowered, and so on. The question is, because this thing could be easily said than done, because human nature is something else. Even God had to grapple with that. And who are the leaders who will say, I am servant force. I am forgetting myself, and I'm projecting the nation, I'm projecting the people. I want at the end of my day, at the end of my departure, to see a group of people of all races and all colors come together. That is serious business. And so I don't think that could happen without the help of the Holy Spirit, because I mean, I don't want to go down, a spiritual road, but it is what it is.
But you have to go down the
Right.
road.
Because some people will say, it's time of spiritual. That it is what it is. Without the help of God. A man can't really come to that kind of position where you say, you know what? All these dreams I got for myself, all these dreams I got, and all these plans I got, I now want this for everybody and for a nation. And if it means that I have to take a low ground so that an entire nation could, I saw that when we looked at, you, Bishop, you were down in Fresno, and I'm only calling your name because you were there. But we saw how that city was transformed. It was people of all the Hispanics, the whites, the blacks, everybody came together and they worked towards the development. The police force,
The schools.
The schools, you might even have a bandit or two inside, I don't know. But the thing is, there were leaders who emerged and say, we are putting ourselves at the back and we want to put the city of Fresno first. And that is where we need to come to. So when we look and we scan the society, we have to look at our leaders, because they're leaders in our society with tremendous power, that if they say a word, people will respond and listen. It is for those leaders to be targeted. It is for them to come because they have the power, they have the following. It's for all those leaders to say, let's come together and move this nation forward. Everybody wants.
I think what we are actually romancing is the need for us to cultivate a deliberate cultivation of the issue of trust and the issue of us working together. And I guess that requires leadership, someone coming to the fore. I think, Bishop, you made the illustration. Let us concentrate, for example, on building a bridge. And I was making the point, we all need a bridge. Without the bridge, we can't go over, we can't cross the thread. So why not let us cultivate an atmosphere where we all need this bridge, and let us work on getting this bridge done.
Some will say they don't need a bridge.
We need a road. We need a road. Let me give an example. Last year, when we were returning from Leaders Retreat, I spent hours on East Bank Road. Why? Because a container slipped off and blocked the whole road. Years ago, somebody suggested that we need another road along there. We need it, all of us need it. But what we did, we just widened, but the container blocked the road. This was an idea that would benefit all of us, but nobody listened.
The concept of transformational leadership is phenomenal. The concept of servant leadership, where leaders will now seek the good of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We looked,
Just
we
science.
looked, we studied concentrated poverty in a city in America, Fresno, in California. And the leaders, not a leader, the leaders came together from the religious, the secular, they all in between, the agnostics, they all came together and said, this is a hole, we gotta get out of this. And they're still working, but they're not as deep as they were when they started. And if the view is transformation, total transformation, the view is we want to be able to create an environment where this country, with people will be able to enjoy what is called the good life. Therefore, we go beyond lots of the constructs that we're familiar with. And we begin to trust. Again, we begin to
Important.
Cooperate.
work together. All of those songs we can sing together and make it happen.
The modern term.
Marshall, you have the final words today.
I believe that Guyana, we are strategically positioned to take off, but it is important that we come together and work as a team. I think it's an uphill task, but it is not insurmountable. It is achievable. What we need is the emergence of the young and the old working together for the transformation of this country. 50 years is symbolic. 50 years speaks of jubilee. 50 years speaks of transformation. So all who were slaves, this is time for them to be released. Whether they were slaves in their minds or physically, this is a time for them to be released. All those who were thinking negatively, at this juncture is a time for our people to think differently. Let us think humility, let us think mercy, let us think justice, let us think peace. This is Choices.
We thank you for joining us on Choices today. Remember, you can join us at First Assembly, LNP Durban Street, Workmanville, Georgetown, Guyana, for any of our special services. I'm Celacia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.